All right. Oh, let me get the here. Live now for the final day of the Tetris 99 tournament thing. I might go until it's over. I might not. Please only put fake spoilers in chat. Oh boy. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, I just saw a very upsetting. Oh, thank you for the host, Snake Master. Damn. You're on top of things. All right. I would like to get 1,100 points by 2 a.m. Oh, get ready for another 4 hours of Tetris. I might not touch Tetris for a couple of weeks after this, if I'm being honest. I've played a lot of Tetris over the last few days. I think I'm gonna spend the next week playing games I've not previously done on stream, or that I've I think I'm gonna spend the next week playing stuff I've not played before, or have sort of avoided touching or whatever, just to cleanse my palate after all this fucking Tetris. Just so much Tetris, man. More Tetris than any human person should engage in this short a time. You have something to confess. Okay, tell it to me. We got, or unless, and can you imagine if this was how Catholic confessionals went? Like, forgive me, Daddy, for I have something to confess. You hate Game of Thrones. You'll never ever watch it. Okay, that's fine. That's honestly a completely valid approach to a show. Oh, I never answered your question yesterday about sci-fi. I didn't watch a lot of Sci-Fi Channel back when it was SCI-FI, nor have I watched much of it since it's become SYFY. Never really was my cup of tea. I do, however, believe that the quality has declined as it's sort of gotten more and more interested in, you know, momentary, like, attention from Sharknado or whatever, instead of, whatever else. For me, the channel that I watched a lot of Next Gen on to start was actually, for whatever reason, BBC America. It's pretty much the weirdest choice ever of like a place to watch next gen. But it's where I got my next gen fix from before, because I didn't start watching next gen until I had Netflix essentially, and I started watching it on television on BBC America whenever it was on, and then I think I got Netflix shortly thereafter, and I was like, oh man, this is the fucking thing. But I was also watching Doctor Who through BBC America, so that's probably why I, was in that sort of place. It's not a very good choice of like a sci-fi channel, you know what I mean? I do believe that TNN is Lost sci-fi. I've actually argued previously that Lost is more in the genre of urban fantasy than sci-fi, and my argument for that is because Lost often doesn't. Sci-fi to me is about hard rules and facts. A lot of next gen operates very much like a mystery story, where the mystery is something is happening and we need to figure out what's going on and rectify it in order to survive out here in space. Whereas Lost is more about the emotions of the people involved and their story in and of themselves. And a lot of the stuff that happens in Lost doesn't strictly obey any notable, learnable, or obvious rules, if you know what I mean. Supernatural, I think, would be more in line with what sci-fi is than Lost, believe it or not, even though I would consider Supernatural more of a fantasy show based on what was in the show. But it treats the fantasy like creatures of Supernatural with the same sort of attitude and approach, the same sort of scientific method that a sci-fi show approaches things with, in my opinion. And that, that might be an incorrect way to approach what sci-fi is, but to me, that's a way to define something as sci-fi without having to worry about it like being gatekept by somebody who is just trying to be like, well, sci-fi involves space. It doesn't involve space. There's plenty of space stories that almost certainly that aren't sci-fi because they don't, they don't have the same tone. Sci-fi is a tone to me more than a setting. You know what I mean? Like Star Wars is really not very sci-fi because they don't really try to like. Yeah, that was a bad orange L piece. You're not. I did almost fix it, but I definitely did goof it up quite a bad. But yeah, I don't know. For me, sci-fi is about Star Wars, Lord of the Rings in space. Yeah, that's a fair way of putting it. Though I think Star Wars had more magic than Lord of the Rings, in a way. Like, Lord of the Rings is kind of had biblical prophecy magic, whereas Star Wars had more individuals are able to control the universe through will and spells kind of magic. Is Lord of the Rings sci-fi? I don't think so. I think because Lord of the Rings is an adventure story, which doesn't necessarily preclude anything, so I shouldn't say that. To me, Lord of the Rings isn't sci-fi because there's not a mystery to be solved. There's not a, plot that involves, we need to learn and understand the situation or a story of hubris. It's pretty biblical in its own way, which is how Tolkien wrote it, but that was his own thing. I don't know. I feel like sci-fi and fantasy are genres that are hard to define, like, in terms of what is or isn't sci-fi, you know? X-Men's pretty sci-fi? I would agree, yeah. I would say so. Because a lot of X-Men stories rely on chromosomes and aberrations within them that create then some kind of superpower that has some logical connection to the chromosome that was affected or some such thing. And there's like clear rules to how their powers work. Like, Magneto can affect metal, but I'm not even certain if he can affect all metal, if he can affect only magnetic metal. Never been clear on that. And that can affect someone like Wolverine with metal bones, who can't then fight Magneto. And that is a sci-fi concept of like, oh, this person has been made low because their thing that would normally be a power, through cleverness of the villain, has rendered them unable to fight. And that's super neat to me. And like Magneto has that helmet that keeps Professor X out of his brain space, which is, you know, that's important and good. But yeah, like I do appreciate that there's sort of Picard, kind of Picard, a little bit Picard. Picard was less horny than what's his name? Than Professor X. On a scale of like Patrick Stewart horny characters, Picard is one of the least horny. I don't like the word horny normally, but it's very apropos for like making fun of characters, especially ones that Sir Patrick Stewart played. Claudius, extreme. That's like the most horny Patrick Stewart character. What a discussion. What horrid words have I put together today? Because in Picard's whole time on TNG, he only has sex with like 2 people. Maybe 3. I think I can think of 3 at least. Doopy and Picard pork. Not as far as I'm aware, however. I hope so. As far as I'm aware, there isn't any implication that they have. However, they've known each other for a long time, and there is no guarantee that I am not forgetting something extremely important. As far as any on-screen romance goes, it is, as far as I know, not there. That doesn't mean it hasn't been there previously. Oh my god, fan fiction? Do you mean fucking Star Trek novelizations that almost certainly have that in there somewhere? The original fan fiction? All Star Trek novels are considered non-canon, by the way. So they can just kind of do whatever the fuck they feel like, depending on their mood that day. Oh, that was a bad place for that one. Wow, this person is really not happy about me. So yeah, there's not any reason to... Now, the real question is... Someone not watching that Skyrim show? What Skyrim show? Oh, Game of Thrones. I'm just behind. I'm just behind on this season. I've watched everything previously, but I didn't watch the episode that just came out today. It is pretty Skyrim-y, but that's more because Skyrim was originally a Game of Thrones game than because Game of Thrones is a Skyrim thing. I mean, I will aim for the single digits. Need for Speedruns actually mentioned earlier that he's not a fan of the show at all, which is fine. Like, I get it. I understand. By no means do I genuinely, I feel like for as mean as everyone is to soap operas, people are way too down with Game of Thrones to be able to criticize them anymore. You know what I mean? Like anybody, like I've never been really that mean to soap operas other than like as a conduit for certain really weird tropes. Like in soap operas, it's a very common thing for actors to kind of be like, I'm done doing this character, I'm going to leave now. And so literally, there are episodes of like General Hospital where a long-standing character, just a new person walks out and a fucking voiceover comes on and says, the character of Jax is being played today by this person. And it's like, you can do that? It's just, and everybody in the show acknowledges like that's just what they look like now. They'll occasionally age up characters who are like in their teens without aging up anybody else. So there are people who have been on the show since their characters were teenagers, but they got rapid age. They like get hit by a car, go into a coma, and wake up a year later, but they're 10 years older than they were when they went into a coma. It's just, it's incredible. People want to say Dragon Fights play Skyrim. I mean, sure, but you're not about to tell me that Skyrim's Dragon Fights are really all that interesting to watch. You know what I mean? Like, they're very dramatic, and they're very fun when you're playing, but they're the most boring thing to watch. It's a bit like Tetris. It's not. Tetris is always fun to watch. I forgive my blasphemy, Alexei Pajitnov. I know not what I do. But yeah, I don't know. Like, Game of Thrones has an appeal to me, but I understand the appeal, but I don't understand why everyone else is so into it, and yet they're still like, but no, I'm not into nerd shit. Just Game of Thrones. Or if they are, they're like, I'm into nerd shit like Game of Thrones. You know, like it's exclusively people who are like either way too into their newfound nerddom or people who are like in denial about it. When all we need to acknowledge is just like, yeah, people can enjoy cool things. It's okay to watch a show with dragons in it. It's okay to watch a show with zombies in it. It's okay to watch superhero movies. But when that's the only thing available and the only thing anyone talks about, it does get annoying for the rest of us. Oh, well, I mean, that's what I, okay, but you've in your own counter argument, you've admitted, like, the fun part of a dragon fight is once the dragon dies. If like, would you honestly, if I gave you a computer and I was like, you can watch anything you want on this, would you genuinely be like, all right, time to watch somebody fight a dragon with really high health for 20 minutes just to watch that dragon bod spaz out at the end? Sorry, spaz is a bad thing to say. What? I don't know what you're referring to. But yeah, like, I don't think dragon fighting in Skyrim is usually very entertaining. Mainly because of, it's just like, it's just Skyrim combat's not all that interesting. Like, I don't feel like that's a controversial statement. I don't think anyone plays Skyrim still with the thought of like, oh man, the combat in this, it's just chef's kiss. The show of the sheeple? Oh, Keep Up with the Kardashians. Oh, I honestly don't know if I've ever met anybody Maybe... No, I genuinely don't know if I've spoken to somebody who watches that show. As far as I know, that show is only on the air because it's hated enough because that they can just keep putting it out there. Maybe people who hate watch that show keep it on the air. That's a horrifying thought. I do know people care about the Kardashians. I've never watched the show. I don't particularly care to watch the show. I have no strong feelings about the show. If people want to watch that, that's fine. I don't pay your fucking cable bill. You know what I'm saying? If somebody... Okay, I will say this. If somebody had my login information and spent all day watching Keep Up with the Kardashians, and I couldn't watch any of my shows because they were hogging all of the devices, then I would be upset. But that's the only reason I would be upset. That goes for any show, really. Like, if my family all decided to use my Netflix at the same time to watch, I don't know, the Ted Bundy murder tapes, whatever, then I'd be like, guys, please, I'm begging you, stop using my Netflix. Just fucking get your own. Do something other than watch TV all day. But since I always watch stuff at night, like, no one ever does that, so I don't have to worry about anything. I promise my sister watches far trashier things than the Kardashians on Netflix. And she just goes, yeah, it was on, and it's not good, and I don't like it, and I'm actually quite opposed to it, and here's a video essay on why I dislike all these things. And it's like, cool, but you chose to watch it. I really should be more concerned about my sister's Netflix addiction than I currently am. I'm kind of an enabler in the fact that I gave her my login, and I'm just like, go for it. I don't care. Someone should get the money's worth out of this. If it weren't for other people using my Netflix to watch things that they liked, I probably would just cancel my fucking Netflix and stick to CBS All Access and exclusively watch Star Trek. You know what I mean? Like, there's no reason for me to be, like, spending the money on it if I'm not going to watch all the different originals and stuff. I don't watch Orange is the New Black ever. So, oh God. Oh Christ. This is bad. There we go. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really care what other people do with their time. Except unless it's like punch people in the face or advocating for genocide. Like, don't do that. Like, if you spend your time advocating for genocide or punch people in the face, unless you're a boxer, in which case, punch people in the face is a fine thing to do with your time, as long as you're in the ring and you're supposed to be doing it, then, like, that's fine. But advocating for genocide has no place in this world. I would rather someone watches Keeping Up with the Kardashians than advocating for genocide. That's my opinion. And I don't think it's a very hot take. Sit the fuck up. No. I'm gonna slouch if I want to. No, I'm not gonna sit up. I'm gonna slouch if I want to. You're not my dad. I also will not shut the fuck up. I don't want to. You're not my dad. The facts remain the same. You're not my dad, and I don't want to. No, I'm not. I don't wanna. I don't wanna sit up. You can't make me. You're not my dad. It's true. No, I'm not gonna shut up. I don't want to shut up. I'm not gonna sit here in silence so you can get a silent Tetris stream. I can honestly say with absolute certainty that you are the only person who wants that. I don't want that. Zen doesn't want that. Need for Speedrunners doesn't want that. Literally only you have asked to have a silent Tetris stream. Everybody else, for some reason, wants me to ramble incoherently. I don't know why. I've never understood it, but I do what the people want. Well, then who's supposed to shut up? If not me, then who are you addressing? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. 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 Yeah, I'm dead. Frankfurt defused an unexploded World War II bomb? Holy shit. I did not hear that. Was it like an aquatic mine, or was it like a landmine, or was it like a, what kind of bomb was it? It was in a river, so it could be anything. That's super crazy. I know that there was I'm trying to think. I don't know where. I think not Switzerland, but some other country. It might be adjacent to the Alps, or it could be a regular bomb dropped by the Allies. Okay, so it was like an air missile that was dropped from the sky. That's what I mean. Is just like, was it a land? Where did it initially arrive from? Enough to level a whole block. Holy shit. Just sitting in a river for fucking 80 years. Wow. The world is crazy sometimes. Welcome back. Microwave some pizza. Okay, good. That's crazy. Damn. Just a big fucking bomb. I know that there's some place that's near a mountain, near a mountain or a mountain range, where they use howitzers to initiate not artificial, but you know what I mean, to initiate avalanches to prevent natural ones from occurring. And they use like leftover World War II ammunition because there was just so goddamn much they didn't know what to do with it otherwise, and they were like starting to run out kind of recently. Oh man, not from a bomber. I mean, for me, it's crazy. Like the idea of a bomb that fell and never went off and sat there and wasn't discovered too. That's the other important part. It was found. I presume that as soon as they found it, they were like, "Oh shit!" and they fucking defused it as quickly as possible. Is my assumption. Like I don't assume they were like building an entire city around it, and they were like, "Ah, whatever. It's totally cool. It's whatever." But yeah, it's crazy to me, the idea of like a bomber dropped this bomb and it didn't go off and it just sat there undiscovered. Oh, I believe it. For like genuinely, seriously, 80 fucking years. It's nearly 80 years. 75 years since it's been 74 or 73 years. 74, I think. Since the end of World War II. But yeah, like the idea of a bomb being dropped by the Allies that just sat in a river undetonated until some poor bastard came out one day and was like, "Oh shit, we gotta fucking get rid of this thing." Can you troll right now? As long as you acknowledge you're trolling. As long as you acknowledge up top that you're trolling, I would appreciate some kappas so we know when you're being serious and not. But yeah, I totally believe that like Germany has like an undetonated bomb problem. I would believe the same of London, given how, you know, the Blitz happened and all that. The descendants of the people the bomb was meant for. Shit, that's fucked up. Kappa. Kappa. That's fucked up. That's a really like interest. That would be like a time travel rule. You know what I mean? Like if time travel existed, there would definitely be some kind of rule of like, if you do something that will affect people in the future, you have to acknowledge the effect on the descendants and they will take responsibility for such and such. God. Man, I don't know. It's just crazy to me. And like, I guess part of it also is just the further we get into modern warfare that we're currently in and the way it operates, the further World War II gets from like my understanding of how war works. You know, nowadays, the president, any president, Obama was notorious for this, can initiate drone strikes and just send unmanned drones to Yemen. It's always Yemen for some reason. I don't know what Yemen did to deserve all these drone strikes. But they get a lot of them. And, oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, I'm gone. Remember, kiddies, fascism doesn't work. Yeah. And if you ever meet a fascist and they say, I'm a fascist, or they say any Nazi shit or whatever, punch them in the face and tell them, fuck you, fascist. And when anybody around you asks, I would love it if someone would tell me why Yemen is the country. Is it because they're like unaffiliated otherwise? And so like when the drugs achieve consciousness, the answer I want to give to what do we do when they achieve consciousness is find a very deep hole to hide in because they're coming for us next. But yeah, I genuinely don't know if Yemen did something. Because, like, there were land wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and, like, yet for some reason, Yemen just gets bombed all the time. And I genuinely have never heard anyone explain why. I never asked, so that's part of my problem. But no one's ever told me, like, oh yeah, Yemen got bombed for this reason. It just happens as far as I know. It's just like, well, Yemen's there, and there's presumably some Muslims there, so let's just drop bombs on them until they, I don't know, until we feel better, I guess. Yeah, exactly. You just fucking Falcon punch them. Falcon punch them in the dick. God, you know, I never thought that some of my favorite memes in the entire world would be people like Richard Spencer getting punched in the face. But genuinely, like, God, there's something about, it's animalistic, you know what I mean? There's something about watching someone that I know I disagree with being punched as hard as they can be in the face. And I'm like, I normally am not a violent person. I try not to be violent, but Richard Spencer believes in a white ethno-state. And, like, that's a very good reason to punch him in the face. You know what I mean? Like, if I met anybody that was into the ethno-state as much as Richard Spencer is, I'd be like, you know what? I think you deserve to be punched in the face. And I feel like it's kind of the least we can do as citizens of the world is to punch fascists and ethno-state believers in the face. Oh, man. Fucking Richard Spencer. I'm gonna leave the second one in auto mod. I'm gonna go ahead and leave auto mod just hanging there with that. What about eugenics? What about eugenics? It's not a good thing. Please don't try to argue for eugenics in my chat. I feel like that goes without saying, and I hope you're not about to. But in case it needs to be said, please don't advocate eugenics in my chat. Christ. That's the fucking 2019 mood, isn't it? It's just, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, and I hope that no one's going to. But in case it needs to be said, please don't advocate for eugenics in my chat. Made Yao Ming via eugenics? Who's Yao Ming? Should I know who Yao Ming is? Oh, the basketball player? Wait, hold on. Are you referencing famous basketball player Yao Ming? If they did that, then why would he come to America to play basketball? That's my question. If you had referenced like Chinese gymnasts or figure skaters or whatever, I'd have been like, maybe. But because of their one-child policy, which isn't great. But Yao Ming played basketball in America. Then why did they raid? What? That's the most bizarre and roundabout explanation I've ever heard. Yao Ming is a spy because, as we all know, if you want to have access to the most important information in the United States of America, the way to do it is to be really fucking good at basketball. Oh, I need to take a moment. Holy shit. My fucking head. I'm lightheaded from laughing at that. Holy shit. Oh my god. Holy fuck. Oh god, I had too much sodium to be laughing that hard. Jesus. Oh god. So your Yao Ming is ready. I don't love this joke about Yao Ming being your favorite dish. Isn't Yao Ming the reference image for one of the like really old image macro memes? It was like a guy laughing, but I don't remember what the corresponding caption was. God, that's a fucking reference to how... That's an idea of how long it's been since Yao Ming was in the news. Does he even play basketball anymore? I feel like he retired by now, you know what I mean? I've been saying the phrase "you know what I mean" a little too much lately. Oh. Oh, pardon me. I mean, I suppose, but I feel like there's a lot easier ways to get to the White House with a security clearance, and faster too, than having to be really good at basketball. Oh, number 8. That's pretty good. Oh, almost at 1,000 points. But you're like, yeah, obviously you can get somebody into the White House if they win a championship, but they have to be a good enough basketball player to win a championship and be on a team that's good enough for that. Like, seriously, I think you could get a staffer into the White House with a security clearance for way less money and in way faster than getting a basketball player in there. It's a real long con. I'm not saying it wouldn't be done. I'm just saying that there's far more effective ways of getting a spy into the White House than basketball championships. Jesus. What a fucking day this has been in chat already. Oh, boy. He was designed to be the best of the best, and we didn't use him for any military excursions. We used him to play. Okay, genuine question. Was Yao Ming born in China or was he born in America? Like, did he emigrate here to play basketball, or was he born in America and then just played basketball? Because I'm genuinely concerned that we're, like, being racist to possible actual American individual, American citizen, and national treasure, Yao Ming. Fucking Yao Ming's phone goes off and he's like, oh man, I wonder what's happening now. Oh, someone said my name on Twitch. I wonder if they're playing a basketball game. And he tunes in and it's like, Jesus Christ, these guys are the most racist. What do I mean? What do you mean, what do I mean? Was Yao Ming born in America or not? That's all I mean. That's the entire question. I didn't feel like it was a confusing one. Or do you mean, how are we being racist? In which case, don't you think that saying, man, this regular Chinese person's name sounds like a dish? Are you arguing that that's not racist? We're racist to ourselves. But we're allowed to be. You know what I mean? Like, if we make... This is a comment that's come up recently on Twitter and stuff. Is that people who make jokes at the expense of a group they belong to, those jokes are inherently funnier to the group they belong to than to outsiders. As well as they are more lasting. You know what I mean? I can make jokes at the expense of white people because I know white people. I've been a white person my entire life, and so I'm more of an expert on... I mean, I'm using the phrase racist as a shorthand. We're allowed to make jokes at the expense of our own race more because we know what to make fun of. I would point to, there's a very... it's not really a joke per se, but there's a kind of like an experience humor type thing. Johnny Sun, who I think is Canadian. Yes. Or maybe it was Louis Zong. Oh God, that's the worst confusion to make on my part. I think it was Johnny Sun. Made a joke once that because he is of some Asian descent, I don't recall which one. It doesn't necessarily matter for the joke. He's very used to like putting on an overly like American accent to ensure that no one mistakes him as being, to make sure that no one's like, ah, this guy's foreign. You know what I mean? And that isn't something that I understand as like an experience, but I'm sure people who like read that laughed and were like, oh man, don't I fucking know it, if they experienced that. That's the thing I'm referring to. There's a video by ContraPoints about the darkness, and the idea is that dark comedy at the expense of a group that doesn't reflect how that group actually operates is not funny. Dark comedy by people who are part of that group, who understand how it works and what it's like, is funnier to people in the group because it actually is a reflection of their experiences as opposed to just being like a stereotype. I don't know. I feel like I'm not explaining this very well, and I feel like if I keep talking about it much longer, I'm gonna fucking something I really regret. And everybody's gonna be like, Druid's a racist. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm not. I'm not a racist. Please. No. Please don't cancel me, baby. I should state I'm not a racist. I know that's the exact thing I know that you're gonna go in chat and be like, that's the exact thing a racist would say, racist. But I fucking hate shit like that. By the way, I hate the internet. I don't know why I fucking do this. Well, I'm dead. It was a good run, everybody. But I'm definitely dead. I need a new topic. Military risk could be captured. I mean, otherwise risk could be trained to the wrong team. Well, I mean, on the topic of Yao Ming, like, if you're already gonna give him enough of a non-threatening background in the United States, okay. Operating under the assumption that is not true, almost quantifiably, that Yao Ming is some kind of Chinese spy, which I don't believe and never would believe. Don't you think it'd be easier to get him, like, to have him raised in America since birth and then have him, like, become like a White House staffer? Wouldn't that be easier to do than to, like, or like a what's it called? A staffer for House of Representative, or a senator. A senatorial staffer? That would be faster, I would think. I can't imagine you have to be good at basketball to do unless your argument is that the Chinese program, which again, we don't believe exists, I don't believe exists, and would make no sense if it did exist. For some reason, the only thing they were able to make was a person who was really good at basketball, and so they were essentially like, well, our hands are tied. We can't have him do anything else, or he won't be or he'll be only average at it, but he's really fucking good at basketball. It does not allegedly exist. I don't think we're actually alleging that this exists. I don't want that evil. Don't put that evil on me. I don't want to have to argue that I'm alleging or not alleging that this exists. This program does not exist. I'm stating that with absolute certainty on my part, that this program does not exist, and if it did, it wouldn't make any goddamn sense, so it doesn't exist, is my argument and belief, and I believe it genuinely. This is a bad time. Ooh. Can I make a comeback? Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. On Druid Avenue. Fighting fears. Crying tears and drinking beers. So don't call it a comeback. Yao Ming was born in 1980. Tiananmen Square was in 1989? No. I did not realize I was in 1980. I did not ever realize I was in 89. I thought it was so much earlier. Oh, it's so weird. No, I'm not disagreeing. I by no means am I like China is a good place to live and you should enjoy being there. Like, China's definitely a fucked up place. The Chinese people are fine, but the government there is bad. I just didn't realize that Tiananmen Square had been in 89. That's so crazy to me. I had always thought that it had been like, you know, I thought it had been around the same. I thought it had been like around the time of Vietnam. You know what I mean? Like, here's what I mean. I had always understood it as being like Tiananmen Square happened in the same sort of time frame as other protests and revolutions in Vietnam and similar places. I didn't realize that it had happened so close to the fall of the Soviet Union, you know? That's what gets me. I never knew that. I didn't take AP. I didn't pay much attention to world history. I'll admit that. But I don't believe... Okay, so you obviously have the page open. Just confirm for me. I know this is a stupid thing to confirm, but Yao Ming was born in China, right? That is part of the whole thing, yes? Because I genuinely don't want to admit, don't want to allege, I don't want to even joke about the possibility that he did something illegal. Like, I don't even want to joke about this if he's an American citizen. Like, that feels fucking wrong to me. That just feels racist to me on and of itself. Yao Ming was their last option. Yeah, China's one of those places that I'm just like... Shanghai, China. Okay. Thank you, thank you. God, 7'6" tall. That's incredible. That's so tall. That's like that's genuinely 1.5 foot taller than I am. And that's just crazy to think about. So I will at least acknowledge that you have the minimal inhuman even. I don't know about inhuman. Not governed. Jesus Christ. This is the second worst conspiracy theory ever peddled in this chat. Holy shit. I wish I were joking. I wish I was joking that this was the second worst conspiracy theory ever peddled in this chat. But there is a worse conspiracy theory that was put forward in this chat many years ago. But man. Oh boy. Those were the days. What's the second number? Whose height is this? Average height for males in China. Okay. That's definitely an outlier. Like a significant outlier. Though I don't... Okay. Let's all stop for just a moment here and reaffirm we can all drop character. No one will hold it against us. Just very briefly. I'm begging you, please tell me you don't actually believe this and you're just doing this to bother me. I need you to confirm real quick that this is not an actual belief that you really hold. You're just messing with me and you're just staying in character for that purpose. I just need you to affirm that for me, Need for Speedruns, please. Yeah. 5'2". I mean, 7.5 feet tall is an outlier anywhere in the world. I'd be horrified if that was the average height for any group. And also, please don't tell me you've accidentally convinced yourself of this thing you said as a joke earlier. I never changed to attackers. That's my bad. I've been just doing random attacks this entire game. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Ooh! You see that fucking spin? It's the kind of spin you can get on Druid Avenue. Oh, I said it. I said it. Guess where we are, everybody? Welcome back to Druid Avenue. You've all been granted temporary visas to be able to come to Druid Avenue. I hope you're enjoying your stay so far. Later, we're going to have our daily Star Trek debate in the argument park. So be sure to be there or be squared. You know what we say about squares around here? Ha ha ha! References. Sorry, I see the first part of that chat, but I haven't gotten to the rest of it. Give me a moment. I'm sincerely hoping that you're not actually advocating this is a genuine belief that we are trying to discuss or argue here, because otherwise I'm gonna feel really bad about ever entertaining it. Like, okay, I'm not doubting. Before we get into, in case anyone is confused, like, Druid, oh, don't be so naive. You don't think the government would create super soldiers? I 100% believe that any government in the world, including China, would create super soldiers. I just don't feel comfortable alleging that famous basketball player Yao Ming is one of them. Yao Ming is allegedly supposed to try the military to infiltrate the West and plant doubt in Americans and fans of the Houston Rockets in their own government. Houston. I didn't even know he played for Houston. Oh my god. I sincerely, I really hope you're, I believe you're joking. I think you're joking. I don't want to believe you're being serious. I just would like it if you would confirm for me. Like, I don't want to have to then be like Dirk Nowitzki, who was born prior to the fall of the Berlin Wall, could be a communist super soldier sent to sow discord in Dallas alongside Yao Ming in Houston. I don't want to believe that. I don't want to have to argue against both of those at the same time. That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, I guys got level 48. Like, these are the things I don't want to have to argue against. And, like, here's the thing. If someone was like, oh, the CIA made super soldiers, but they didn't succeed. Or, like, MK Ultra probably happened. It probably didn't get any results. Like, I don't believe super soldiers have ever been successful. That's not to say that they were never attempted, but I don't doubt that the Russians and the Americans looked into it. God, I've never understood that about Dennis Rodman. Like, has anyone ever explained, does anyone happen to know why he likes North Korea so damn much? That just seems weird to me, you know? It seems weird to me to be, like, friendly with a country with that much, like, that many political skeletons in their closet. And, like, human rights violations. You know? That seems weird to me for anyone to then be like, nah, I'm cool with them. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Just strikes me as a strange thing. Connect the dots, Druid. No, I don't wanna. I don't like the dots that you're presenting for me. Look, man, if the way that I have to, if the only way for me to understand the way our world politics work is to believe that Yao Ming, famous Houston Rockets basketball player, is a spy, and that the only reason why China has worked with America in terms of loosening trade restrictions and stuff, like, is because of basketball. I'd rather live in denial. I don't want to have to live in that world. Deep state equals NBA. God, I really hope not. Mainly just for all the people. Honestly, if the deep state was the NBA or the NFL, I'd be really upset. I really don't. I don't believe that deep state exists at all, because it's a nonsense idea that's never had any confirmation by any group. As far as I know, the deep state's only ever just been a boogeyman for everybody to be like, ah, deep state. They're the ones who are really in charge. It's like, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. How would it be possible for no one to know about it except for a few people on the internet who all happen to be really weird about it? That's how I feel about flat earthers too. It's like, sure, if there was a conspiracy on that scale, there would definitely be people who were like the truth tellers, but they wouldn't be this weird about it. They wouldn't be like, the globe is flat, also the government's poisoning you through fluoride in the water and it doesn't have anything to do with your teeth. Like, you know? You'd think there'd be like really consistent, rational people and not just people who only spout conspiracy theories. If conspiracy theories are being touted by people who like only ever engaged in one or two at a time and they were the same one or two across the board, I'd be like, okay, that's fair. But the fact that it's like an all or nothing scale where either like the person is like, by the way, the earth is flat, airplanes don't exist, and any flights that go direct from in a way that would be difficult to trace on my projection of the map, those flights don't take off. They're there just to trick people like me. That kind of shit is just so out there. It's like, I'm sorry, you the onus of proof is just, it's too high. You've set yourself up for failure, and I can't believe that the world is flat now. Okay, another question that I had that I didn't ever get clarification on. Does Yao Ming still play basketball? I've never checked up on that. He was like significantly popular, 10 years ago, or 15 years now, I guess. But I actually don't know if he still plays basketball. Does he still play basketball? I assume he does in his spare time. Does he still play basketball professionally? Or is he like a Michael Jordan where he played his time and he's just sort of living his life now, doing his thing? Which, again, I can't emphasize this enough. I do not believe that Yao Ming is a government spy for the People's Republic of Communist China, or whatever the proper term is. That to me is extremely important to note. No more NBA for Yao Ming. Oh, shrunk. Oh, neato. Well, that didn't do any goddamn good. I really ought to put a fucking disclaimer somewhere that's like, disclaimer, the opinions expressed in chat do not reflect the opinions of Druid S or any subsidiaries. Oh, Jesus. For that matter, and this is going to be a controversial one for me to admit, but like you're going to have to live with this one. I also do not believe that there are any Engelbots, Geranoids, or Brentazoids on the Earth, nor have there ever been on the Earth. I do not believe that in the 1960s that NASA sent a group of apes into a wormhole in a near galaxy, that once the apes went through the wormhole, they were then abandoned and unable to get back, but they were able to send Engelbots, which when combined into 4 make Brentazoids, which can then make Geranoids, I think in volcanoes, but I don't remember that detail quite well enough to say as a matter of fact. I do not believe that any of those events ever happened. I also do not believe that the individual whose Twitch username is Waka Flocka Ayahuasca or some such thing has ever inhabited the same brain as an individual known as Bert Heap, who wants to take over the entire world, as well as a swan, which was a favored pet of Bert Heap. I do not believe any of those things, and I am sorry to admit it now. And to everybody in chat who's probably like, what? That, it's a thing. You had to be there. I am so clipping that. 10722. I need to write that down. And yes, for those curious, if that is the craziest conspiracy theory we've ever had in chat, that one is absolutely, no doubt in my mind, the Bert Heap Swan Space Ape conspiracy reported to us. Definitely, in my opinion, is not true. And I think if it were true, I wouldn't want to live in this world anymore. Honestly, the idea of that being true would so radically alter my entire worldview that it's easier for me to not acknowledge it. Trying to break these lines down, not having the greatest time doing it. Oh boy. Boy oh boy oh dang. Oh darn oh dang. Shit. Cool miss, Druid. Good fucking job. There we go. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, this set of garbage is not good for clearing it out. It does not want to be cleared. That'll go over there. I'm going to regret that in about 10 minutes, but it's going to be a fine time until then. Oh, Bingle. Holland is currently in her home, having felt me say the word bingle through the force, and she's like, "You better not! I can't believe it." No, 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 no. What? No. 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 No, 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 no. No? No. Well, I guess no then. I suppose that the answer shall be no. Well, that takes care of that then. Well, all right, never mind. Oh boy. Okay, it was 107.22. Tetris. I can read that. Okay. Well, I hope Justice Fury's important matters are taken care of. I want to look for something real quick. I think I sent Walrus a timestamp recently or something, but I don't remember what or when. Oh god, that fucking thing. No, you know what? I don't think I have, I don't think I actually did send it. Before all this? Oh no, I'm not hearing from him again. Well, stream just killed itself again. Oh! Are we back? Nope. Welp. Oh, shit. Oh, well, that's almost... Oh, no. We're back again. I'm gonna let it just sort of linger for a second. Everybody here? Everything fine? Everything... Nope. There it goes again. I genuinely do not know. I do not know why it's doing this. It is bobbling between the right amount of frame, right bit rate, and then it just tanks to 0 and comes right back up again. I think it's stable again. All right. Looks to be stable again. Might have already clipped it. There it is. I'm almost certain that I did not. Oh, man. I think I just need to get done with Tetris soon. I think that the amount of Tetris I'm playing is just bad for my health and, like, general well-being. But this is a tournament. You know? Only quitters quit tournaments. By the ipso facto. If I were to quit the tournament, then I would ipso facto be a fucking... be a quitter. Manifestly. So, I don't want to quit. I don't want to be a quitter. I keep forgetting to adjust my attack parameters, which is like, I should, but hope that nobody got kicked out of the stream because of the multiple bitrate losses that had no correlation, that just like, I don't know what the fuck the deal is with that. Maybe there's some kind of hidden data cap that I'm hitting with my fucking streaming and also playing Tetris online. Ooh. Ooh, you see that? You see that? Can your man do that? I don't know why can your man do that, but it's become a thing that I've, like, decided to make part of the Druid S brand. But goddamn, do I not regret it. There we go. Oh boy. That was a stupid move on my part. I could have used... Well, now I'll be fine. Tetris. I don't even know why that makes me laugh, but something about it does. Hello, Colin. Welcome back to Tetris. I'm going to be Tetrising until fucking 2 in the morning. Because out of some stubborn insistence, this is how I'm gonna fucking get $10 from Nintendo. They're gonna give it to me. They're gonna be like, Druid is such a good Tetris boy. Our man couldn't do that. So here's $10. Oh my god. It just goes to show how much I'm willing to torture myself for $10 with video games. It should be a sign to everybody in chat who wants to see me do some kind of complicated, difficult fucking game or move, is that all you have to do is donate $10 and I will feel an obligation to be like, all right, I'll do Dark Souls. I'll do Dark Souls with this weapon. It's the shittiest weapon ever. Oh god, that would be the worst. Why would I ever do that to myself? I say, having obviously done a couple things to myself here. This is the second time I've used an orange block like this to just completely fuck myself. Well, cool. This is beautiful. This is fucking modern art. This is me artistically fucking myself at this point. It's me doing moves that are so... Wow. That are so horrible. I am obligated to be like, this is art. All right. I want to get 1,100 points. I want to get $10. That's really all this is about. That's all this is about here. Can I just say that no one gave me any fake Game of Thrones spoilers? Like, no one felt challenged to come in here and, like, give me fake spoilers for Game of Thrones. That was why I gave it that title. I was like, I only want fake spoilers. And it was meant to be like, people should come in here and tell me a thing so that I'm like, I don't even know. What would be a good thing? Like, the Hound is suddenly played by Macho Man Randy Savage. And he fucking... says, "Oh yeah," and then fucking body checks a dragon or something. I don't know. Stupid shit like that could never happen because Macho Man Randy Savage is dead. Rest in peace. But yeah, no one's giving me any fake Game of Thrones spoilers, and I kind of feel like that part of the title has been just totally ignored, and I don't know how to feel about that. Macho Man Randy Savage is a White Walker. God. Oh man. I wish that I wish Macho Man Randy Savage could have survived to be in Game of Thrones, even as a joke. You know, a la Bonesaw is ready. You know. Unfortunately, though, Macho Man Randy Savage was gone before his time. He died at like what, 53 or something? Like a ridiculously, like an age you should not die at unless you get like a really bad disease. I think he had like a heart attack or something. I don't recall anymore. It's been a minute. I know Roddy Piper didn't live very long, which isn't good, because like that would have been a great person to have in cameos of any kind. Oh, no. No. No! I do not want to commit such mistakes. You know what I just realized? And could be like a good strategy if you're particularly clever and lucky, which is kind of the problem with this game, is you have to be clever and lucky. Is if someone was able to like egg people into targeting them. Shit. There's so much happening there. That's just hard to process. I just saw the brand warped. Like, so you've got a lot happening in that communication you've sent me. This communique that's been placed on my desk. Oh my god. I guess, oh god, everything about it is just like, the more I think on it, the more I'm like, I really don't want to think about this anymore. And my brain is like, but John's parents are... I'm not gonna give real spoilers. John's parents are Ned Stark and Big Bird from Sesame Street. That's why Sesame Street was bought by HBO so many years ago. Holy shit. That would be a fucking twist. Jon Snow's... oh god, Jon Snow's parents are Seska and Chakotay from Voyager. After the baby is picked up by the Kazon guy at the end of the Seska arc of Voyager, he's taken to Westeros. Jesus Christ. I could do this all night. I could fucking do completely incorrect fucking Game of Thrones spoilers about who John's parents are. bird becomes the three-eyed raven and Bran gets his legs back. Jesus. They really haven't pulled any punches with Bran not being able to walk. You know what I mean? They were like, you know what? This character was disabled in season 1 and he's gonna remain so. He's gonna stay that way. And we are not about to pull out on that one. It's like, Jesus, okay. They're not gonna do any shit about like, oh, well, he's the three-eyed raven, so because of that, magically, he can walk again. It's like, no, he still can't walk. He doesn't get to walk ever again. Ever, ever, ever again. Oh my god. Fucking, God, can you imagine what would happen if just like, the next episode, like a la the end of Star Trek Enterprise? Holy shit, what if the series finale, until he goes to heaven, which is spelled differently because there's a different heaven in Westeros. What if the end of Game of Thrones is the same as the end of Star Trek Enterprise, where all of a sudden, for no reason, it cuts to Commander Riker on the Enterprise D, and he's like, I could use some help with a problem I have. You know what I should do? And Deanna Troi is like, you should go to the holodeck and load up that program you've been spending time in. He's like, you're right, Deanna. And he loads up fucking Game of Thrones, and he's just there talking to the crew. Like, man, I sure hope I get a solution to the problem I'm working on. God, that would be the most incredible fucking ending. It's a fucking 8 seasons now? 8 season long build-up to a joke ending that should have never had, to a joke ending referencing a television show that went off the air in 2005 that no one fucking watches. Oh my god. I hope they do that same ending again for Discovery. Just at the end of Discovery, they get to a point where, like, Commander Riker's like, you know what I need to do? Load up my Discovery holograms program. Jesus. What a shitty ending to fucking Enterprise. Jonathan Frakes felt bad for doing that, too. He was like, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have agreed to do that, and I regret it. They deserved better. It's like, fucking hell. Jonathan Frakes has only ever spoken out against the creators of Star Trek for shit they, like, really deserved that they've done. The ending of Star Trek Enterprise and the fucking, what's it called? The racist piece of shit episode of Next Gen. And probably some other shit in there too. I am glad that Frakes can be a director on Discovery, though, because I do enjoy... I don't know. I don't think I know any, like, definitive John J. Frakes directorial characteristics, but there was a shot in one episode that he did where he, like, the camera kept spinning around the characters as though it was like on a Lazy Susan on the table. And God, it was... I guess that's actually sounds more interesting than it actually is. It was just a dizzying and like kind of vomit-inducing. It was just kind of a vomit-inducing shot. where they just spun around a table a bunch. It's like, why? Dude, why? I get that you get to move the cameras now for the first time on a Star Trek series ever, because they're not like fixed to the ground and you can shake them and shit, but there's absolutely no reason to do this to your audience. Yeah, the episode where they go to the planet that's literally just like an African planet full of, and like the guy who's in charge there is like, Tasha Yar is sexy, and so I want her to live on my planet with me, and you guys don't get a say in it because of reasons. And she has to fight for her freedom or whatever. Frakes has since said that episode was a racist piece of shit. It's yeah, it's not. It's one of those that we don't talk about very often. It's in the same vein as the season 1 episode where they go to a planet where there's where it's a matriarchal society for reasons, and the culmination of that is that the woman in charge of the place doesn't like the men there because they're too demure, and so she wants to fuck Riker instead. That's honestly, like, that's not an episode that I think really did the most with its premise. Yeah, it's I mean, because by the very merit of Tasha being in that episode, that means that it happens in like the first 8 episodes of Next Gen, so it's very easy to forget. But like, I didn't remember it myself until I read it in an article where, like, I think it was a Cracked article about how Frakes called it a racist piece of shit, and I was like, oh yeah, that episode's not good. I don't recall what it's called, but it was definitely a weird one. Oh, there I go. Because, Tasha Yar died in The Skin of Evil in episode 8. God, I just fucking... Ugh, man. Next Gen. I'm trying to think of other Next Gen episodes that are in season 1. I will say the one that could have done more with its plot for you and me in particular. Yeah, very unceremoniously. Well, and like I found out later that the reason why is because Rick Berman's an asshole and like treated Denise Crosby like shit, and as a result, she was like, "Fuck this." Same with Jadzia Dax in DS9. Like, she left the show, and because the people who were in charge of her were just fucking assholes. Or not people in charge of her. Sorry, that's too vague. Rick Berman, in particular, was an asshole and treated her like shit. And so she said, well, I'm not going to do this anymore because it's terrible. The conditions aren't good, and I refuse to be treated like this. And so Rick Berman was like, well, then fuck you. And then put out the lies that he was always the nicest boy, and everybody loved working for him, and he was always so kind to everyone. And recently, I think there was like a passage in a book, like a biography of Denise Crosby's, where she elaborated on why she left TNG, and Rick Berman like tweeted that he tweeted about it. And she was like, no, you didn't fucking do that. You're a goddamn liar and an asshole. Fuck yourself, DC. And it's like, oh, man. And then they let Denise Crosby come back as herself in an alternate timeline, and then also her daughter with a Romulan, because the alternate timeline person fell onto Romulus in the Prime timeline. haven't watched those episodes in a while. I was gonna say, the plot twist to Game of Thrones is gonna be that we find out that the origin of the White Walkers, more than it already is what it is additionally a result of the Skin of Evil from TNG. It's still there, and it's still just like a human person covered in like in like crude oil. But yeah, in regards to Terry Farrell, who played Jadzia Dax, they would like talk about how unattractive she was, like all the time. Okay, then I'll drop it then. But yeah, it was like Rick Berman would like invite her into rooms to talk shit about how she looked, and it's like, that's fucking mean, you big jerk. Have a good night. Thank you for hanging out with me and sharing some very possible Game of Thrones plot twists. Watch Game of Thrones on HBO. Sponsored by HBO Now. Not HBO Now, the service, but we are now sponsored by HBO. That joke was so bad that I fucking, like, fucked over my own ability to play Tetris to make it. Jesus. That was inconvenient and poorly timed of me. There we go. Alrighty. There we go. Can I get another one? Can I get another one? I got another KO, at least. Can I get another one? I'm not gonna try and get another one. Oh boy. Oh golly. Oh goodness. I say. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. There we go. Oh, dearie me. Dang old dearie me. How could I frunkle this so bad? That's how I feel. Just frunkle things all the time. See what I mean? Dearie me. My good golly gosh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy! Oh, this is terrible. Oh, I was doing so well until the end there. Oh boy. Okay, well I'm gonna get 1,100 points at least. I want to aim for 1,200 then, so I got 2 more hours to go. I wonder how the I wonder how the system will tabulate things. But it'll be like if you start a game at 11:58 p.m. or at 11:58 p.m. Pacific time. Like if you get first in that game, does that still count? Or is it like if you get or if you have, or if it's like it just cuts off at that time no matter what, and any games that begin, you know, any games that end prior to that count, anything that begins after that point does not count. Oh boy. Just that sound of me, of my soul escaping my body, just being like, oh no, I failed. Oh. Okay. I just want that spot gone. I want to work my way through this. I don't... No. No! Stop! Stop it! Fritz and Frunk. Fiddle-dee-dee. There we go. Okay, I need to start building up another few Tetrises. This will do nicely. Yes. Yes! Yeah! This will do nicely, I think. I'm gonna talk about that for the rest of the stream. No, I'm not. I don't mean to get your hopes up and then shoot them down immediately, people, but let's be real. I talk about that for more than a few sentences and I'm fucking ruined. Eh. Jesus. Gonna regret that in a bit, but I really just want to fucking... Gonna regret it right here. This is where I regret the decision I just fucking made that I just said I was going to regret. Shit. No! What? Oh. I might... Honestly, the more I look at that situation, I probably wouldn't have survived. I am honestly not... I would love to see what the, like, top players have right now points-wise. You know what I mean? Because I don't think I have any slouch. I haven't gotten any number ones. So obviously somebody who plays really fucking well and got 12 number one games in the course of the last few days will definitely have outdone me. But that just sounds really difficult. So, I don't know. I feel like I put in my best. And I've done what I could. And, you know, that's all one can ask of me. I will say also I've definitely been working my thumbs quite hard these last few days. If there was a way to do Tetris one-handed, oh, I'd be doing it all the time. Okay, those buttons don't do anything. That sounds like it's a masturbation joke, and it's not. I should explain very briefly. I just mean that I would be able to write stuff down and look at, like, articles and, like... talk to people and like make hand motions, and I'd be able to do all sorts of things that I can't currently do with the two-handed Tetris systems, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying that this is a problem that I can't play Tetris one-handed, but it does mean that whenever I get distracted and I'm like, the Tiananmen Square protests took place in 1989, I instead have to like stop what I'm doing, like away for a while. You know what? I've been doing my attackers system for a while. I think if I were... I think I might switch back to my, what's it called? My randoms. My true randomness situation for the next few games. Just because, like, I don't know. Once I wanted to get about 1,200 points. If I can get 1,200 points, I would definitely feel like I can just switch to do whatever the fuck I want for the remainder of the time the tournament will run for, you know? Oh, boy. All right. Sorry, I was just thinking about Star Trek again. I know that's going to come as a surprise to absolutely nobody, but it's just the truth. You know, I spend all my days thinking about Star Trek, talking about Star Trek. I just enjoy it. It's a good program. I think if I could encourage Nick to, like, watch Star Trek and do a podcast about it, he would probably be down, but I think that he would get frustrated at me. But at the same time, I think it'd be fun. I don't know. I had wanted to do one with Jake, where it was like I was the resident Trek expert. Trexpert? There's already a show called Trexpertise, so I can't really make that joke too lightly. Oh, Jesus. Oh, there I go. I'm gonna use my old method real quick. You know what I mean? I'm gonna change my stuff out. Daniel! There you are, you son of a bitch! Fucking Daniel, man. I see him everywhere I go. Let me get a better coat. What was that song I did recently? Gotta get yourself a Coca-Cola. Gotta get yourself a Coca-Cola. Gotta get yourself a Coca-Cola. And then, oh fuck, what do I do? There we are. And then Coca-Cola. And then I did this. The sick pop that you want. You crave. I think it was... I don't know when that was. I don't know what the bit was. Oh, boy. Sorry, I'm not thinking about somebody I fucking used to know. It's just a very thoughtful time in my room right now. I could call it a studio. God, that's the most douchey thing I could call this room. I think I'll stick to office, thanks. I gotta take a break after this game. Ever listen to Coast to Coast? Is it a band? Or is it a podcast? Is it about Space Ghost? Coast to Coast? Is it a band that parodies the television program Space Ghost, Coast to Coast? Conspiracy show on the radio. I have not listened to any conspiracy shows on the radio, mainly because I don't listen to the radio, but also because if I do, I'm listening to music. I don't want to listen to people fucking... I don't listen to comedy on the radio anymore. G-rated Alex Jones. Is it like... I mean, isn't Alex Jones like just barely PG? No politics, less goblins. Okay. Goblins. The goblin face. You can just see in their goblin faces how much they hate America. Honestly, the Alex Jones is one of the hardest voices to do right, in my opinion. I'm genuinely curious then what conspiracies do they talk about if there's no if there's no politics? And is it like a serious... Okay, next question. Is it a serious conspiracy show, or is it like a, here are conspiracies that are out there right now, gosh, haha, aren't they so funny? Or is it like... I'm so confused as to what could be. Or are they like... Oh, okay. Genuine conspiracies. Oh. But not like... But shit like... did Jimi Hendrix drink himself to death, or did someone poison him with pills and wine? You know. Was it an accidental death, or was it purposeful and someone killed him? That kind of thing. And like, I assume not was the moon landing faked, because the answer to that's just no. Unfortunately, the moon landing faking conspiracy theories are just too interesting. Fluoride in the water, UFOs. I mean, fluoride isn't like... Fluoride in the water, if taken in significant doses all the time, like, you would need to add extra fluoride to the water to kill yourself. I heard someone explain the moon landing being faked, and the explanation he gave for the moon landing couldn't be faked was, in order to fake the moon landing, you would have needed to, and like the idea is that he particularly referenced to the soundstage idea that Kubrick made a soundstage and fake the moon landing from there. World's best conspiracy show? Okay. I believe you. Do they attempt to debunk it, or do they just attempt to kind of like get into the details and be like, we've gone through all the details that we can possibly acquire for this and all that we can do, you know, do your own research, think critically. There are callers. You can call in and challenge. Okay, interesting. But anyway, to finish the thought on the moon landing thing, there was a guy who was a filmmaker in the 60s, and particularly in regards to live television, and he explained that in order to fake the moon landing the way that it was recorded at the time, you couldn't really do it on a soundstage, because in order to have enough continuous footage from the separate cameras of them, it was all continuously shot, was the big hang-up. And so in order for it to be continuously shot, you had to have film reels that never ran out and that didn't need changing, and you could feasibly change them when you cut from camera to camera. But his point was, you know, they went up for, you know, a long while. In order to make it happen, you would need technology that didn't exist yet for cameras. And it genuinely would have been actually easier for them to send a man to the moon than to fake the moon landing with the camera equipment available to them at the time. Which, you know, that is very believable to me. I'll have to see if I can find the video. I think I saw it on Facebook years ago, so I'll have to see if I can find it. So I can, you know, have it available for reference. In case people are like, Dreward, you can't just say something that happened and then not provide a source. Source, Dreward! And I can then go, okay, here's my source. Ooh. So, do the hosts of this conspiracy show, do they believe in the conspiracy? Or do they just sort of like mentioned them. Because Alex Jones believes in the conspiracies he mentions. That's, I think, an important part here. He never brings up stuff with, like, oh, well, this is a thing that might happen, but, you know, whatever. He's always very, very upset about the things that are happening. And I'm pissed! You doubt it? Okay. Okay. That sounds neat. Yeah, that sounds like a really interesting program. If there's any clips or anything online and you want to drop them in the Discord, feel free. That sounds like the kind of thing I'd like be interested in, like hearing the tone of it. But I don't know. Conspiracies are kind of an interesting thing. If only like I always find myself fascinated by conspiracy theorists of all kinds, including fucking A. God, if nothing else, Alex Jones truly is a fucking wordsmith for our age. The man doesn't know a goddamn thing about what he's talking about, but Jesus, does he feel so strongly. I would dare Ben Shapiro to talk to Alex Jones and say, facts don't care about your feelings, Alex. God, that would be fucking amazing. Get back here! Fucking chases after him like a GTA protagonist. That was one of the fucking funniest things I've ever seen, is someone was like, Alex Jones runs like a GTA protagonist. And it was a clip of like a paparazzo trying to take a picture of him or something. And he chased after the guy, and he has like this really odd this really odd gait to him in that manner of like a GTA protagonist and how they run. It was very weird. Alex Jones is the kind of person I don't mind, like, him being a celebrity and having his entire life laid bare for the world to see. You know what I mean? In the sense of, like, yeah, because everybody's usually get to make fun of you, Alex, you fucking idiot. Alex Jones as the Doom guy. Fucking A. Oh my god. Yeah. I gotta say, that's one thing that bothers me about the people who, like, who were like, oh yeah, I was like a meme lord on 4chan and now I support Donald Trump. I'm like, okay. But, like, when you were a meme lord, wasn't the whole thing just to not give a shit about anything? That's what I've always understood meme lords on 4chan in particular to be, is just people who just don't fucking care. They're just trying to bother everybody around them. And, like, the idea of just being like, yeah, you know what? I now feel very strongly about this particular thing. It's like, what? Why? Listen post-stream? Okay. Oh, while you're at it, would you mind sending me the Bill Paxton thing from yesterday? Because I accidentally lost that clip in the midst of trying to fix the stream and fix some video problems I was having afterwards. Guy imitates Gordon Freeman and calls Coast to Coast talking about portals? Like from the video game, or... Oh, come on. Just fucking... I just would like to win, game. May I? Nope. It's a prank call. Well, good job, YCZ. And I think there was the number 9 beneath me. Prank calling Coast to Coast is an achievement. Oh, man. Leaving that score up there for a while. Yeah, the number 9 was beneath. Was one level beneath me. Oh, I meant to change my strategy back to how I used to do it. I think I can comfortably argue that I am now at the point where I'm going to get I can comfortably say that I am now at the point where I'm going to get what's it called? 1,200 points. So I have no need to worry about trying to I have no need to worry about trying to, like, do things in a way to win. I can experiment now. I can't imagine, you know, the more I think on it, the more I'm like, maybe I will get the thing. Maybe I won't get the thing. But, like, I don't know. I keep going back and forth on it. There's probably people on Reddit who are like, I have 12,000 points right now. And it's like... what? And I'm going for 20,000 points. It's like, I can't compete with you. What? Yeah, that's not fair. Woo. I haven't slept in 24 hours. I've been doing nothing but playing Tetris for fucking days straight. It's like, oh, Jesus. Jiminy Jeezum. I literally played until my eyes refused to keep playing yesterday. I don't know. It's that feeling of, like, there's a point at which I will, I have done my absolute best. And if my absolute best isn't enough still, then it's very disappointing. You know what I mean? We all want to believe that if we give our absolute best, then we'll get, you know, as good as we give. But, you know, it's not necessarily the truth, and I find that sad. I find it sad that we live in a world where, like, our entire existence is based on whether or not we can feasibly outdo everybody else while doing our best. You know, why not create a world where if you do your best, you will be rewarded for doing your best? You know? You can't do better than your best. Even if my best and your best aren't the same best, you know, if I'm doing my best, doesn't that mean that I am in some way worthy of some kind of respect or appreciation? You know? Seems like, and I don't mean like, oh, my best at basketball is the same as Yao Ming's best at basketball. As we've established, irrespective of any other things that Yao Ming may or may not have done in his life, confirmed or allegedly, he's at least quite good at basketball. I'm not saying that if I do my best at basketball and Yao Ming beats me at basketball, that I should get a trophy too. I mean, like, if I can't, like, be on my feet for more than, I don't know, a few hours a day without my feet really fucking hurting and my knees really fucking hurting, and it, like, detracts from my ability to live my life for the next few days, then obviously I, you know, shouldn't be required to work jobs where I have to be on my feet for days on end, for like hours on end, for days on end. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like humanity should make it a priority to let everyone survive. I'm not saying we need to buy solid gold toilets for everybody in the entire United States of America. I just mean, like, if someone can't... We have too many people for the jobs that we have too many people for the jobs that we actually have and require humans for. You know what I mean? So, like, if that's the case, why are we insisting that everybody needs to get a job and work hard or harder than everybody else in order to be worthwhile to society? Like, why can't we just be worthwhile to society as we are? It doesn't need to detract from anybody else's experience. It doesn't need to detract from, like, you know, if I were to say to my chat, I'm not as worthwhile to society as Katie Bowman, who organized the project and led the charge to get that picture of that black hole. Then, you know, people would be like, oh no, Dreward, you just provide a different service to society. But, like, do I? I'm not compensated for the service I provide to society by any stretch of the imagination. Like, I am compensated solely in, like, well wishes and the adoration of the masses. And that's great and all, but it doesn't pay my bills. Like, I can't file with the government and be like, I'm providing a service to make sure that your fucking stupid economic system doesn't fucking make people so miserable that they jump off a cliff. And the government can't be like, oh, well, okay, in that case, you don't have to pay your tax. You don't have to fucking worry about your rent. You know what I mean? It seems unfair to me, mayhaps, that because I can't, like, let's all get real. Let's get real for a second as we come into as we start hour 3 of this stream. And, like, I don't even know how many hours this would be of the fucking Tetris so far. Let's get real. Like, if I can't afford to do this, I won't do it anymore. And if I have to do something else, I won't do this anymore. I don't mean that as a threat. I'm not saying that, like, oh, you need to fucking pay me $18 million via fucking wire transfer at a Western Direct. That's not right, is it? What's the wire transfer that everybody who does scams uses? There's a particular wire transfer branch system that's used for scams, and I don't remember which one it is. I'm not, like, threatening people with it. I'm just saying, like, I don't have the ability to work another job as well as do this. Like, maybe twice a week. Maybe. And that's not great. That very much means that, like, there is an end point to this stream. To the very fact of me being on Twitch has a point at which it will no longer be viable for me at the rate that I'm currently going. And that's not fun. I don't love it, but it's the truth. And that's the fact of our society is, like, even though everybody who watches this stream, or most everybody who watches this stream, most people who have watched this stream have felt this way, has expressed some appreciation for it, some enjoyment of it. At the same time, like, the idea that you guys should be obligated to support me financially in order for me to be able to keep doing this, it's just kind of ridiculous. Like, you guys aren't... This isn't my website. You know what I mean? And, like, this might get me in trouble with somebody. But you guys aren't coming to drewards.com. You know, I don't get money from the ads that are run on this service. I don't get money when you buy merch. The extra, like, cash that you pay for bits doesn't go to me. It goes to Twitch, which is run by Amazon. Like, for the hard work that I don't know about hard work, but for the effort I put in here, my reward is the, like, not even the right, but the privilege of being able to receive some payment in form of a proprietary system through Twitch. That's the reward I've gotten for staying here. Like, I'm gonna be totally, completely fucking real. Like, if another service offered what Twitch has, same thing, except obviously smaller platform, and said, if you come to our service, then for each amount of time that you are here, draw people in, and the number of viewers you get, you will be compensated from us directly as a result of that. Then shit, I would fucking go there immediately. They'd have an obligation to remove view botting of any kind and set up some kind of system for it. And if it was free for the users as well as for me, but I could get paid hourly, even if it was $1 an hour, you know, even if it was $1 a day, it would be more than I'm making right now. So that's the problem I have with a system like this is like, and I harbor no illusions that like Amazon can't afford to pay all of their employees as well as Twitch affiliates. Jeff Bezos is the richest man in the fucking world by being in charge of Amazon. So, like, the idea that, like, oh, well, you know. And obviously people who are in their warehouses and who are making them the money on their actual service by sending out things and making 2-day shipping possible. Obviously, those people deserve more money than I get. That's totally fine. I'm not arguing against that in any way. And I'm only saying this as a counter argument in advance of someone else being like, well, you think you should be paid and the people in the warehouse shouldn't? No, I think we both should be paid more than we're currently getting by the richest fucking corporation in the entire goddamn world. That's what I think. I don't think that's fucking controversial to be like, hey, I spend all day and like spend all of my effort, not all day and not all of my effort, but you know, a significant amount of my effort and a lot of my time that I could do anything else at this time if I want. I could go get a job and make more money doing any fucking thing else. That's not me complaining and saying like, oh, it's me just stating like, this system inherently does not prioritize having good creators here. Because it prioritizes having popular creators. And as we all know from how YouTube handles its shit, that is not the same goddamn thing. I don't know. I'm just tired of being stressed about money, is my thing. And in my opinion, like, there's no reason why I or a warehouse worker at Amazon should be concerned about money when we are both affiliated with the most. They're a direct employee, I'm just an independent contractor essentially. But, you know, this is actually an interesting comparison to make that I just thought of. I don't know much about strippers. I think that's a pretty obvious thing from everything about me. But a friend of mine who is quite familiar has explained to me that a lot of them operate as independent contractors. They operate not as, like, they don't operate by being employed by the club who then, like, pays them an hourly wage in addition to their tips or guarantees them insurance or anything. They pay the clubs to give them a platform to legally perform the work that they do. And like, Twitch is more like that than an actual independent contractor position. Twitch is more akin to a strip club than it is to an actual fucking job. Because I don't get money if you go and get the all-you-can-eat buffet that's in the same club. I don't get money from the drinks. I get money from you tipping me in addition to whatever else you do here. Subscriptions are just a facilitated opportunity to, get something. It's a fucking lap dance. There's nothing wrong with sex work or with stripping or whatever else. It's totally fine. I would never begin to be like, you know what? These people are, in the wrong. It's just we all, they and I deserve to be treated better. That's my argument here. But it's just not convenient. And I guess what really gets me about it is I know that if I can't do this anymore, it's not just people won't say, oh, well, that's a shame because that's how shit works. But yes, you should have a house to live in and have a job and be able to support yourself and all that. But if I don't know. I just question the idea of we live in a market system. If you have a talent, which most people who have been here would argue I'm talented at this, and if you have a devotion to it, and I do this 6 days a week. This is the 7th day in a row I've streamed this week. I haven't done it nearly as long as I used to, and nearly as consistently as I used to. But the idea that as long as you have a passion, you can make it happen is just bogus. It's totally It's totally untrue. Quantifiably and factually untrue. And it's upsetting to sit here and think to myself, people spend a lot of time and even money. There is money spent here. I'm not going to ever disagree with that. But, people spend time and money here, but even if everybody who watches and who wouldn't watch someone else, there are people who have been here who don't spend much time on Twitch otherwise. There are people who, if they are on Twitch and I am live, they are here. And, the idea of then being oh, well, I'll just not do this anymore. I'll just go. The argument won't be, oh, Drew had to leave Twitch because Drew has, only so much ability, only so much energy to do things, and only so much ability to devote mental and physical energy to something in a week. It'll be, Drew's a lazy piece of shit and doesn't want to fucking stream for us anymore. He's going to abandon us like my dad did when he went out to go buy cigarettes. And that'll be the joke. That'll be the refrain, and that's fine. But the reality is, we should blame the corporations a lot more often. IMO. I read a thing recently from, I don't recall what book it was, but I put it on my wish list. But it was a book about, I think, just internet creation. And there was a story in there about Vine. And the thing that Vine had argued for a long time was user interaction is down, and we don't have any creators anymore, and this and that and the other, and so we're gonna shut down the program. But what actually happened, according to people who were there and who have no reason to lie about this, I don't believe the book made this up. It makes no sense that they would, and further, it makes perfect sense because it was a little too convenient. A bunch of the creators on Vine who spent a lot of time on Vine making their different stuff, making stuff that we still watch and reference and talk about years after the fact, went to Vine and said, if you don't pay us with the ability to make for our ability to make exclusive content for your platform, we will go somewhere else that will pay us, where we can monetize our work, where we can make what we do into a job. And Vine said, no fucking way are we going to pay you. And so they fucking bounced. They left. They did what they said. They organized. They got together. A bunch of Vine's biggest creators said, we are going to go somewhere else and take our audiences with us if you don't fucking give us some, if you don't pay us for the service we render you. And Vine said no. Vine and Twitter decided they would rather let their service fucking die than pay the people who made content for them. Under the guise of some entrepreneurial spirit of the United States of America, which is horse shit. Entrepreneurs don't do things for exposure. They do things for money, to pay their fucking bills. If you can't turn your Vine or Twitch or whatever into sponsorships or paid promotions or whatever, then you can't make money on it. And if you can't make money on it, then you have to do something else. Or else because, you know, there's no homeless Twitch partners who just really believe in this service. They just really believe in what they're doing. I don't know. It just bothers me, the idea of, like, being told that anybody can do something. And then just, like, here I am. I'm doing stuff. I'm trying. And there's no reason to believe I'm bad at this. People tell me all the time how good I am at this. But no, the onus should not be on the people who watch me to support me financially. That's ridiculous. If Twitch isn't going to charge people to use their service, and if they did, it would go under immediately, then they can't then expect me to also do this for free. If they can't expect you guys to pay for it, then they can't, like, I don't know. It's just, that's the thing, is, like, they can't expect you guys to pay for the service in and of itself up front, and yet they expect you guys to pay for it afterwards. And they probably argue as such. We don't believe that Twitch creators should pay for things, that Twitch users should pay for a service they don't believe in. Bullshit. You don't want to charge people for a service that is, you know, going to have in advance. We don't want to charge people for the service because the internet's supposed to be free. And so you instead say, you don't have to pay us for it, but you should, you know, pass along your savings of not paying to use our service to the creators. And, you know, that's just silly to me. No Netflix. If Netflix tried to do the same thing with their creators, the unions would kill them in an instant. You know, that would be the problem. The unions would get to Netflix immediately and say, no. You don't get to do that. That's not how this works. And yet somehow, even though I attempt to be just as professional as someone on Netflix, I've spent a significant amount of my time in the last 5 years of my life, if not more, trying to be better at comedy and to be funnier and to be more entertaining and be good at video games. Not that that's done me much good. And the idea that somehow in America's entrepreneur-centric market economy, that is not worth any money unless you can speedrun or unless you can, you know, get sponsorships or whatever. You know, there's all these caveats of, oh, well, this person has, you know, whatever. And it's like, yeah, that person's a speedrunner. They're not doing this for comedy's sake. I don't think that people tune into speedrunner streams with the intention of being like, oh, man, this is going to be the funniest fucking speedrun. They want speed, baby. Now, there's obviously speedrunners who are funny and who I'm sure are a great joy to hang out with, and I would never want to disparage the entire medium of speedrunning. But my point is that that's an inherently different thing. I honestly think that, like... Oh, Christ. That's bad. Like, think of how different YouTube would be if instead of using YouTube Red money to fund YouTube Red originals, they instead use that money to pay people directly without ads for the service, more than they already use it for that. I know that's already a point of YouTube Red, is so you don't get ads anymore, and the money you get from YouTube Red is actually better than ads. But imagine how much better it would be if they didn't spend $100,000 or whatever to shoot an entire TV show starring Logan Paul for some reason. That to me is the thing, is like, I don't know if anyone wants YouTube to do original programming in that way. That seems weird to me, and it doesn't seem to be in their best interest. And I honestly would be shocked if a lot of their programming is particularly popular. As far as I know, it's just sort of like, oh, well, it's there. You know, they do it. And, like, it exists. But, like, I think that if YouTube Red resulted in people getting no ads in a world where ad blockers didn't exist, which is already fictional. I need to take a break a couple of games ago, and I just didn't. I don't know. I want to believe in YouTube Red being a better system than it currently is, but unfortunately, I think that the damage to the internet media landscape has been done for so long that until we get some significant landmark change in some new service or some new web idea or whatever, that, like, it's just going to continue to be a problem. Like, the ad-based web does not work quantifiably. Like, the CPM rates that people who make, like, internet content used to get were significantly higher until advertisers realized that it wasn't that great of a boost. But, so, like, the ad-based web has been essentially a non-working idea pretty much since Newgrounds. Like, it's just weird, the idea of, like, the idea of, you know, we're going to use ads as the ad-based web, but we don't have a solution. But there's ad blockers because nobody likes ads. They're annoying. There's entire web browsers that exist with ad blockers built in now. And, like, it's just silly to me. Why not just say, this system does not work, let's try to find a different one, and then find a different one? Kind of goes for everything. Like, if it's not working, why not fix it? If Google is not making money with YouTube with ads, then why continue to try and fight the eventual death of YouTube due to ad stuff, instead of just saying, okay, at this rate, YouTube will die in X number of years if we don't have some kind of ad fix, of some kind of replacement for ads. You know, why not try and find that replacement? Keep your service alive. Prioritize the health of your platform over short-term gains. I'm sure there's a group of investors somewhere who are like, prioritize your thing over my short-term gains? Then again, investment itself is a joke, in my opinion, so... Well, I don't think anyone really cares about my opinion in regards to why investment is a joke. So I really don't feel like giving a long dissertation on a topic that no one cares to hear about. Then again, I suppose if I really didn't care about giving long dissertation, if I really didn't care for giving long dissertations on things people don't care about, I wouldn't have gone on this topic as long ago as I did. So, who knows? I don't know, man. I just think it's weird that as a society, we value music so heavily that we place it as being like a thing you should mention to somebody as soon as you meet them. You know, like, what kind of bands are you into? You know? It's used to judge entire generations. Oh, my generation doesn't like music like this, so they're stupid, and I'm cooler than them. And in the same breath, we all say, but I don't want to pay for it. People who make music should make it for joy. Well, how are they going to live? Well, they should just have another job. How are they going to make good music if they should have another job? Well, they could, like, tour. Touring doesn't pay as much as it used to. Because no one wants to pay for tickets. No one wants to pay musicians for their fucking hard work, for all the training they went through. Even though we all adore music. It's like... It's just upsetting. It's just like we as humans need to value the hard work that other people have done to justify this stuff. And I should say, numerically, in case anybody comes back to this video later and is like, Dreward, you're saying you want a fucking $75,000 salary to play video games on Twitch? And my response is no. I would like a $6,000 salary. Because that would allow me to not quit. That would mean that I don't have to leave Twitch. $6,000. Do you, like... You can't hardly buy a car for $6,000. You can, but you're not gonna get a great car. If you include first year repairs in a car price, I reckon it's hard to get yourself a car that's $6,000. So, like, I'm not asking for... I'm not saying that I want to be able to, like, eat caviar for breakfast. Or like own a house immediately. But everybody judges a human being based on their ability to do those things too. Nice. And so if I don't have the ability to own a house because I decided that my passion, which is a fucking word everybody loves to throw around, lays in making jokes over video games. And it does. I've wanted to do something like this my entire life, and I'm doing it on my own dime right now. Actually, to be honest, to not leave Twitch, the number is... I'm not certain. Hold on. I mean, at this point, the number is close to... What about $600? But $6,000 would mean I could pay my credit card debts off and not keep charging things up and up and up. It's just a very unhealthy state to be in. I'm essentially a small business owner with no income. How am I to expand my quote-unquote business if I don't have any mechanism by which to acquire more games, to invest in perhaps someone to edit the videos for me? I'm just supposed to do it all myself. I'm just supposed to spend every waking moment working on this stuff with no guarantees. Absolutely no guarantees. You know, you get a regular job and there's a guarantee that if you get fired, then you can still, or you get laid off or whatever, then you can collect unemployment. You know, there's at least some net there. There's no net here. It's upsetting. T-spin double. So that's my feeling, is like, if I spend, the only thing I will get out of Twitch if I keep doing this for the remainder of the time that I think will be without me like going so severely into debt that I need to declare bankruptcy or something. Like, for me to be able to maintain that, I don't know what I was gonna say with that. I don't know. I don't remember what I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought there. Oh, that was what I was going to say. I was going to say, for me to maintain this stream and keep doing it and potentially get to a point where my options are to either leave Twitch and get a different job and never go back, or like declare bankruptcy and then try Twitch again for X amount of time more. Which, honestly, I don't think I would want to do. Like, the only thing I would get if I leave Twitch at the end of it is the knowledge that I could never do it again. That it would not work. That there is no circumstance in which I can make this work for me. So, that, to me, is a problem. It's like, I can just spend an entire year of my life doing nothing but understanding, like, oh yeah, that just won't work. Take on debt, make empty promises, piss everybody off, leave, disappear into the ether, to be remembered as, do you remember Druid? Oh yeah, God, what a douche. Fucking left us all hanging. What an asshole. Vanished without a trace. Such a goddamn coward to just admit to his fucking mistakes. Mistakes of believing in myself. So that's the thing, is like I would essentially have nothing to show for all the time I spent other than a bunch of videos of me playing video games, people going, that's hilarious, Druid, you sure are funny, gosh, I love you. Which are great. Those videos are great. I love it that people are like affirming my existence isn't bullshit right now. I appreciate that people are here and say, not right now, because people have left once I got into like a really deep conversation that's just dragging on. But I appreciate people come here and they are happy to see me and they're excited to see what I'm doing and they discuss this stuff with me and like respect my opinions, I think, most of the time. And it's just upsetting to like that in society being a positive effect on everybody's lives here, on everybody who's followed, everybody who's subscribed, and everybody who's spent time in chat for a long time, that the value to the world of that service is jack fucking shit. And that I'm sure if I were to ask this too publicly, if I were to mention this elsewhere than right here, everybody's willing to agree with me, that the answer would be that I'm fucking selfish. I should just shut the fuck up and go back to playing video games on Twitch, you fucking loser. You know what I mean? It's depressing. Yeah, I don't know. It just bothers me. It bothers me, and it bothers me consistently and like way more often than I would like to admit. Like I'd like to just be happy to do this. You know? But the crushing weight of there is a significant chance that I will not be like I can't even enjoy this. I can't even enjoy this because I know that it's so fucking temporary that there's essentially no point in enjoying it more than moment to moment. That it is so completely and totally like possible that there will come a time in less than 1 year where I have to say to everybody, sorry, I can't do this anymore. And then just leave. No joke, no twist, no I'll be back someday, no anything. Just gone. Just fucking vanished. It's like I can't enjoy the fact that right now I'm privileged enough to be able to spend my time doing this because by the very merit of society being a market system where you have to be able to sell yourself and your labor means that if I can't find a way to sell this, I can't do it anymore. And it's not an argument of means. I have no means within which to live. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm saying, oh, well, you know, I should give up the champagne the bottle of champagne I drink every week. And I could give up, you know, I go shopping for clothes every couple of weeks and spend $1,000. No, I spend my money on food and video games. Like, that's it. So it's not a matter of, well, if you just, you know, ate in more often and you like made your own soap or whatever, then I'm sure you could make it work. I can't. It's like those, there were budgetary charts that McDonald's worked up that were supposedly supposed to be like, oh, you're gonna, if you work for McDonald's, here's how you can budget your money to be able to survive on minimum wage. And like, the fucking chart was like stupid. It was ridiculous. It adjusted things in a way that no one can buy them. Like, it was like you never have to worry about any kind of emergencies or expenses. You never have to worry about paying for any like outstanding debts that you might have acquired and are trying to pay off. It like showed rent as being a ridiculously low amount that no one could get. It was like groceries were extremely like low because they imagined that you would eat fucking like beans and rice for every fucking meal, apparently. It was just out of touch. But the point is that, like, the point comes down to McDonald's wanted to try and act like their system and the system that they operated within can work, and it can't. It quite definitely, quite obviously, it cannot. But, you know, it's just, that's how it feels, is like, there's no, it's not $7.25 an hour, it's $0. You know, it's $5 every time Need for Speed runs, very, very generously, I should add. Like, Need for Speed runs is probably one of the most generous people here. Holland might take umbrage with that on the grounds that Holland gave me $100 one time. But like that's what I mean though, is like it's ridiculous that of the people to mention, my options are one person who I know has one person who one time spent $100 on me, and somebody else who spends $5 to gift subs a lot. Like, that's my income. It's not anything that I could, like, feasibly live under, and that's a problem for the platform. You know, if Twitch wants to say that they support their creators, they need to do so financially. I'm not saying that you can just sign... Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I am saying you can sign up and get paid. There is a place that I have that I don't work for per se. I haven't done any jobs for them in a long, long, long time, if ever. But it's a transcription service called Transcribe Me. Very professional outfit, very worth looking into if you're homebound and need work and can transcribe pretty quickly in terms of like being able to take audio into your ear and then like try to type it out. Good place. I have nothing but good things to say about the way that they handle things, the way they talk to their employees and stuff like that. But it's you essentially get paid by the word once somebody who's a QA person checks your work. I don't know if it's by the word or if it's like, depending on the job. There's a system for it. I would say look into it. But like, that's the thing. Like, if someone like me is willing to stream 6 days a week, then Twitch shouldn't just be like, oh, you now get the opportunity, the luxury of receiving bits. Woo. Which means that if the people who watch you and the people who watch me aren't wealthy, you know, no one who watches me is like a Kardashian or a Kennedy. You know, everybody who watches me is relatively broke. I don't want to make it seem like I'm disparaging anybody, because I'm not. I understand. Like, I get it. And my point is that, like, unfortunately, I think people who are really into the idea of Twitch not paying me would probably say, oh, well, there's your problem. You should instead play games that get a larger audience. You should cross-promote on 5 different sites by spending 80 hours a week editing. You should, you know, talk to brands about doing sponsored videos or whatever. And it's like, that was pretty slick. Gotten really good at Tetris over the last few days. I hope I have. Sorry, I'm now focused on Tetris for once in my goddamn life. But, the idea that Amazon can pay me cents an hour is really not, like, that controversial, IMO. But yeah, the idea that somehow, like, people, I'm sure, if they looked at it detachedly, could say, well, you should just play more popular games. You should go where the people are and play Fortnite, or play fucking when PUBG was the thing, or Rocket League was the thing, or League of Legends was the thing, or fucking CSGO was the thing. Play those. Chase the trend. Be a Dead by Daylight streamer, they say. I'm sure. But, that's not how it feels. You know? It's like telling somebody, oh, well, I see what your problem is. Artist who makes very good art, or person who makes, you know, I don't even know. What am I trying to reference here? Someone who makes music. The problem is that you could make way more money being a songwriter for Ed Sheeran than you could, or a songwriter for Ariana Grande than you could writing your own songs. There's your problem, as though creative processes don't exist, as though there's no desire to be one's own person. Instead, it's looked at in this dry, money-making sort of way. And that's like, it's just silly, you know? That's not how it works. That's not how it feels. The idea of being like, I don't even know what, a phony? And how many people who say, oh, well, you should just do X, are the same people to decry disingenuity? You know? They're probably the same people who will say that a fucking musician should just shut up and play. You know? Don't discuss things that are important to you. Just shut up and play. You're not a person anymore because you're a commodity for my consumption. Therefore, you should not have an opinion on art or politics or anything. Which is really what it amounts to. It's just, you're a commodity for my enjoyment, and I don't enjoy your creation when you get political. Well, sorry, but if you have a right to be political, then so the fuck do I. You know what I mean? No one ever, like, there was somebody who I don't remember who it was anymore. If it was a musician or someone. But someone tweeted something to the effect of, like, should postal workers not discuss any kind of politics because they're just postal workers? That argument never goes to anybody but artists. It only ever goes to the people with the most ability to speak to the most people. Shut up and play. No, I'm not going to. And who knows, that could be part of the problem. People would probably tell me you should stop being political. You should stop saying things against groups of people that you disagree with. You should stop being vocal about your beliefs regarding, you know, the free market or whatever. But, like, no. It's not 2015 anymore. We can't do that anymore. I was very I was very much against being political on Twitch back in 2015 and 2016 whenever I first streamed. But we are not in that situation anymore. We don't have that luxury anymore. To not be political. Every element of our world is currently, you know, in danger. Like, there are so many places where far-right nationalism is taking off that not speaking against it is, you know, potentially complicit. We don't have the luxury of saying, oh, well, I don't want to have any opinions that might get me in trouble. Like, fuck it. If my opinions get me in trouble, then, like, good. Not good. But it's better that my opinions get me in trouble and I stand for something than I sit around and you know, constantly dance around topics that mean something to me. Nothing I ever discuss here is meaningless to me. I don't ever say things to virtue signal or to, like, give off the false impression that I mean something that I don't. It's extremely important to me that I am clear about what I do and do not believe. So, I don't know. There's just, if the cost of succeeding on Twitch is everything that I stand for, then I guess I won't succeed on Twitch. Sorry, everyone. If the cost of succeeding on Twitch is never sleeping again and working harder than I ever have for less pay, then I don't think I have it in me, if I'm being honest. Shit! Oh, if I had gotten that green piece in the right place, I'd have definitely been better off. 1,300 points. 1:10 a.m. Let me get my medication taken. These are my sheeple pills. They're not. Don't call them that, please. Oh, I don't know. I'm just feeling dissatisfied, I guess. Oh, okay. I guess that's my thing. I want to go back. I want to circle back to, you know, I should be happy, you know, and I shouldn't even necessarily be happy. You know what I mean? I don't mean that I should be like jumping for joy and like just super fucking excited every day, like, all right, everybody, we should get ready to do some great things today. Oh my! I mean, like, I should have some semblance of joy in my life. There's something I should be able to point to and say, you know what? Despite everything, this is worthwhile. And, like, to be unable to point to the stream and say, I am happy with this, is like, it's so disappointing. It's just depressing. Like, am I pleased with how it turns out every time? Yes. Am I doing my best? Am I giving it my all? Am I being myself? Absolutely. Is it making a goddamn difference? No. Oh boy. But yeah, that's the thing, is like, it should, you would think that, like, I don't know about the healthiest per se, but I'm more or less the healthiest I've ever been. You know, I could be exercising more. I could be eating better, but I'm, you know, in terms of like day-to-day health, like, am I able to get up and move around and not be in pain? You know, am I like, well, there we go. Am I like tired beyond belief? You know, there was a time in my life where I wasn't able to leave my house. Am I feeling like that again? No. But, and like, I don't have a schedule in the sense of like, no one else tells me when to do what I do. No one else makes decisions on how my time should be spent. No one else declares when I have days on or days off. No one else determines what games I play when. I have more freedom now in terms of my mobility, in terms of my self-determination, in terms of like the ability to take care of my health than I ever have been. And yet, I'm still miserable. You know? I'm like, I'm depressed. I'm not like taking great care of myself. And like, I think a great part of it is this just immense guilt I feel about like, here's this thing that I am doing that at present is not even earning enough to pay for itself or my ability to do it. And there's nothing that I can do in the short term to make that easier other than grind and grind and grind and grind. And you know, it takes a special kind of person to grind all the time. And it takes a special kind of goal, but it also, I think, it almost requires that there be a light at the end of the tunnel. You know? That there be like some kind of something that I am headed towards that I can quantifiably see. It's not gonna be a surprise. It's not gonna be a twist ending. You know, for me to suddenly succeed far and away would be a surprise. It'd be a twist. You know what I mean? And the idea that that is at all predictable or even around the corner, it's just not, it doesn't hold water. And that to me is like bothersome, of like, there is essentially no, like, if there was even a guarantee that I could pay my student loans off with this, I would be like, okay, at the very least, I can say it'll be worth it for that, to have that burden off of my shoulders. but there's no guarantee that it will. And, you know, it's just like, this inherently feels meaningless to do if I am doing it at the expense of my ability to do anything that will benefit me in the long run. There I go. You know, if I do this and it doesn't work out, then it's just, then what? So, it just sucks. Sucks to feel this way. I just realized I need to take a break, so I'm going to take a quick break and then come back, then do 40 more minutes of Tetris, and then never do Tetris and then not do Tetris again for another fucking month. So that'll be good. Quick shout out to Need for Speed Run 64 for unfollowing and refollowing at some point today. Let me see when I got the email from, because I think the email should give me an idea. I just saw this. Let's see. No, it'll be a different email address. Earlier today at 10:45, or yesterday, whatever you want to call it. So that was like an hour after I started. Thank you. And Streamlabs won't alert more than once for the same person following, but it does. I think it has a thing where if someone was following me before I started using Streamlabs, then it'll show their name again if they unfollow and refollow. It's like if Walrus were to unfollow and refollow, it would show his name. Let me just. Oh boy, that was a bad swap. That was a terrible swap. Anyway, so once the Streamlabs thing goes off once with someone's name, it won't go off twice. Which is interesting. I'm manually selecting KOs right now, so that's an interesting thing. What do we got? Oh, nope. This person looks pretty bad off. I would like more badges, if I'm being honest with you. Oh boy. Oh, Bingle. Boy, oh darn. Damn, they're just fucking firing this shit off at me. Real back and forth action here. Shit. Fuck. Fuck. I could leave this person alone and save myself, but I'm not going to. Too goddamn stubborn, and I'm fucking in it now. Gonna show them who's who. Think they can fucking strong arm or one-up me. I'll fucking show them. I'll show them by fucking putting up a concerted effort to fight back and then dying terribly. Shit. There we go. Fuck me. It didn't spin the way I thought it would. That's a weird place to put that. Okay. Well, damn. Okay. We got another half hour left. I kind of want to go on, like... I don't know. I kind of want to go on an improv adventure. But I don't have anyone to give me, like, a topic or anything for an improv adventure. There's some cute little kitties in my Discord. Hence, I've left it open on that particular screen. Neither one is looking at the camera in a way that I would describe as, like, supportive of me doing well at Tetris. Which is fine. Like, you know, they don't have to support me at Tetris. But it would be it would be that much better if the kitties were supportive of me at Tetris. Or supportive of me playing Tetris and doing so well. You know what I mean? If these kitties were as cute as they are now, but additionally were like, fuck. If we're additionally like, Drew or do well at Tetris, I managed to get like I managed to be the third death in that entire match. Pretty poor show on my part. I'm genuinely curious how this Tetris... Oh, I didn't need to... Shit. I fucking positioned myself strangely and I couldn't reach over to my other table I have in this room. If I was more efficient with the space in this room, I'd be better off. I rewatched Data's Day, which I didn't realize had like a really serious plot, I guess. The plot structure of that episode's weird. So, in Data's Day, Star Trek Next Generation episode, I think 408. Lieutenant Commander Data, who is an android for those for the uninitiated, is writing down the events of his entire day to share with Commander Bruce Maddox of Starfleet Medical or Starfleet Android Research or some such thing. Bruce Maddox appeared previously in the episode Measure of a Man, so it's quite nice of Data to still to keep in touch with him and like send him stuff. Which the impetus for the episode is that in an off-screen communique, Maddox asked for sort of the internal monologue of Data over the course of a day, which both would make sense in a universe where they need to try and figure out artificial intelligence, as in addition to gives the writers a good reason to follow Data all day, because Data's like a really fun, interesting character. So that to me is like it's like a good premise. I like that kind of premise. I like premises like that. Premises, is that right? The right pronunciation of the authorial premise? I like the idea of a premise in a show that's like it both makes sense in universe and it makes for like a good episode of television, just in terms of like it suits both goals. And so the whole thing is like Data is trying to deal with Miles and Kiko O'Brien, who are getting married, and I think the best line on that in the entire episode is Data asks Deanna Troi, "Do you think that they should get married?" And Deanna's like, "I don't know," are her exact words. And I was like, wow. So even the fucking characters are not sold on this fictional relationship that, like, viewers ever since this episode have been like, should they have even gotten married? They only ever fight on screen. And they do. They only ever fight on screen. It's pretty bad. Oh jeez, no, I didn't want to do that. That wasn't what I wanted to do. I didn't want to do that either. Oh, I should have T-spun. I just noticed this person is has a lot of badges, but also had a lot of lines. So I'm trying to do some requisite damage in advance of them targeting me. God, this fucking badge boy took my fucking kill. That's why he's the badge boy. Anyway, like one of the interwoven plot points of Data's Day is that there's this ambassador who's going between who's trying to be going to Romulan space to be able to try and like negotiate with the Romulans on something, but in reality she's a Romulan spy disguised as a diplomat. Oh hell yeah, dude! Fucking hell yeah, dude! Got so many fucking badges out of that, dude! Oh shit. Anyway, the culmination of the whole plot is that Data helps figure out that the Romulan person was Romulan and tricked the Enterprise, and like also Keiko and Miles get married, even though Keiko tries to call off the wedding at the top of the episode, and Data's like, "Oh, I got great news for you, Chief." You know what? That's gonna be the end. I am going to call it done right there, because that is the way a Tetris tournament should end, is with me. That is the way this stream should end, is me getting number one on this, in this situation. I only got 4 KOs. Like, I did very little to get what I got. But, you know, that's me. Sorry. That, took a lot of doing. That's it. That's it for your old pal Druid. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it. I'm glad that I could participate in this Tetris tournament thing. I hope that I can find out relatively soon what the results are. I don't know. I don't know if I want to expect to get anything out of this because I think that just the experience of having done it was good. The Druid Avenue improv 2 days ago and the Salt Power 3 improv yesterday were both worth the effort, in my opinion. And over the course of the next week is going to be a bunch of different stuff. I will not be back tomorrow. I'll be off tomorrow. And then I will be back on Tuesday to do more streams. I'm going to try and do a bunch of... Oh, shit. I'm going to try and do... I just dropped the thing I was going to have. I'm going to try and do a bunch more... like Steam games and stuff that I've had lying around but haven't gotten around to yet. And then that way I can kind of make my way through my games, my game library. I need to make more space on my hard drive, and I think that spending some time doing that would be nice. In terms of special thanks to Snake Master, the Snake Master 4 for hosting me. I always appreciate hosts. I appreciate follows and subs also all the time, any day. I think I might do more FTL more frequently. I might do FTL on Fridays from here on out. That might be neat. I'll test it out over the next week or two and then see how I feel about it. If I feel like, oh, this is a good plan, then I'll keep doing it. If I'm like, this is too frustrating or whatever, then I won't. But either way, I hope you'll tune in and see what I've got in store. I hope that I can stop being so sad sometime. It's a little bit too real. Regardless of anything else, I hope you're not sad. I hope your socks are dry and your bellies are full. I hope you have a great night. I hope to see you sometime later this week. Oh, shit, I tried to wave goodbye, but I hit the microphone instead and I didn't mean